What's up, everybody? Steve here again. This time I'm in the submarine capital of the world, Groton, Connecticut, at the Groton Skatepark, located inside Sutton Park, which is what you see behind me. Now, this park is one of the original skate parks built in Connecticut. It was built in 1999 by, I believe, a guy named Jeff Paprocki. Could be getting that wrong. But I'm told that this park was originally like fish ponds, and they decided to turn it into a skate park. Now, this skate park has a super old, like classic skate park design, really flowy, like big ramps and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily like your standard, like what you would see a Spawn Ranch park be like. It's kind of loose and like artistic in a lot of ways. And so some of the stuff that you'll see here is really gnarly. Some of the stuff you might think, oh, that doesn't really make sense anymore. But it's just a throwback park, and definitely has like a DIY feel to it. Like, I think it's a lot like skating Burnside or something like that out in Portland, Oregon. So anyway, I'm going to take you through this park, and you can see it for yourself. And of course, if you have any questions or anything like that, just drop them in the comments. But let's go check it out. All right, this is going to be one of the hardest skate parks for me to describe because everything is so kind of like laissez-faire, freestyling the design. And so needless to say, there's lots of like kind of hips and bumps and all kinds of like ramps, almost like a pump track. But I'm going to start out with kind of the entry area, which is probably the lowest in height. And as you work back towards the back of the park, the ramps definitely get taller. So to kick things off towards the entrance of the park, you've got these two boxes set on the asphalt portion. Now, most of the park is concrete, but there are a couple asphalt sections as well. And, you just have to deal with those if you want to skate. But you've got these two ledges. One is about 18 inches tall and close to 8 feet long. The other is only about a foot tall and is double that length. So it's closer to like, 16 feet long or so. And that's what you see, these two things in front of me. Now, once you get past those, you get into just kind of that free-handed like design with lots of hips and stuff like that. So first things off is there's a hip in front of me that kind of has this weird like, dip in the middle or the top of it. So this thing is about 3.5 feet tall or so, and just as, one thing to pump over or air over. And so I'd kind of wrap around it a little bit, but you got that in front of you. And then there's kind of like this more like hangout area, but you've got a couple different elements, like a step up, like Euro gap style to get onto the deck of a 5-foot quarter. That 5-foot quarter extends all the way out to almost 6 feet. Where you've got like a pyramid in the middle of it. And the pyramid has a jersey barrier set into it. So if you like skating jersey barriers like a quarter pipe, you've got that as an option, and there's a bank set up to it. If you don't like that, you've got a pyramid in the middle where you can do tricks across the coping of the 5-foot quarter, or just air over the pyramid, or maybe even kind of wall ride out of the jersey barrier into one of the ramps on the sides of the pyramid. So I'll just kind of loop around that to show you, what all's there. So you kind of see how you've got it on both sides there. Next, we've got a bump to rail. This is probably the lowest impact like rail, and it's really the only flat bar in the park. But this whole bump is about 1.5 feet tall, and the rail on top extends to be about 8 feet long. So nice and long, but it's got a pyramid kind of that works in any direction. So if you want to skate the rail across that, you can air over the rail if you want. You got a lot of different options, and you can really come from any direction to hit it. So lots of flexibility there. On the other side of it, there's this like volcano island, say it's like an archipelago. Lots of different hips and flowy obstacles that range from kind of 4 feet tall all the way up to like 7 or 8 feet tall. And as I kind of wrap around it, you'll see what I'm talking about. But one of the things I want to point out is the Euro gap that's about 1.5 foot step up with a decking on top of it of about 4 feet. That ramp takes you from like 2 feet up to like, you know, close to 4 feet or so. So nice big step up, but there's plenty of ramps and stuff like that to get speed for it. As I kind of work my way around the hip section I just showed you, you get into like these like snake run style obstacles. And so this has 2 sides to it. I'm in kind of the more interior side where you can see that there is a 6-foot quarter pipe with pool coping on the top of it and like a brick vert section, which is pretty cool. But yeah, you just have to kind of flow through it, and you can roll in across the top of some of these. They're not all quarters. So it's really just about pumping over certain sections that are sometimes like 4 or 5 feet tall and then wrapping in to hit like a quarter with pool coping or something along those lines. Now this is looking at the exterior part of that like snake run area, and you can see there's like the cinder block wall ride area. Ranges from 3 blocks high all the way up to about 5 blocks high. And there's definitely footage out there of like Brian Anderson ripping this place because he's actually from Groton. So you can look that up, but this has been a staple of the Groton Park. Kind of something that you can either just build up speed coming off of the deck of the 5-foot quarter or come in the opposite direction and hit the wall ride. So nice and burly. Probably a bit difficult to skate. Definitely have to be an advanced skater, but you got that as an option. Next is a really deep bowl. This thing is about 10, maybe 11 feet tall or so. Right now there's some flooding from rains from a couple days ago, so the drainage isn't great. But this quarter bowl area, I'll show you it from the top, but this thing's gnarly. However, the transitions are relatively mellow, so there's not really any vert on it. It's just kind of gradual, and then you get towards the bottom of it. So kind of an old school feel to it, but definitely a challenge to skate. And then you got a big rolling area that will take you into other parts of the skate park. This is what that big quarter pipe section looks like from the top. So kind of bold area, 10 or 11 feet tall or so. So deep, but not steep. You can drop in on it and build up your speed to hit all kinds of other stuff in the park, which is kind of sick. Next is one of the bigger quarters, kind of just like C style if you're looking at it from the decking at the top. But this thing is like close to 12 feet tall, maybe not quite that tall, 10 or 11 feet. Got pool coping across the entire top of it, but gradually slopes down to be more like 8 feet next to about a 6-foot roll in kind of volcano style hip. So this is definitely like the main big quarter pipe in this park. Burly, but you do have these rolling areas to get speed to hit it. So kind of interesting layout, if you will. Now I'm kind of standing behind that big quarter, and what you see is like a little like street area built on some of the decking, and there is a hubble ledge and kind of bump to ledge, which I'll show you in a second. But there's also this like 4 to 5-foot quarter going down to like a 2-foot quarter, slopes down on the opposite side of that big quarter I just showed you. So just again, really like flowy style setup before you get into other parts of the park. This is that hubble ledge and bump to ledge. It's only about 14 inches tall or so, and nice, long, and mellow. The one downside is that the trees are definitely kind of encroaching on what you'd be on, so those have to be trimmed up if you really want to session this, but still in really good shape, and cool obstacle. So I'm going to give you kind of a lay of the land from up here on some of the other sections, but basically you've got a number of other quarters. Right now I'm standing on like a 5 to 6 foot quarter pipe. You've got another like little mini quarter pipe in the back there that's about 3 feet, almost skates like a mini ramp where those people are standing. Then you've got a big like 7 or 8 foot bank, lots of other bank sections, and all these like ladybug like ground art, if you will, murals. Those are all just little like bumps that you can pump that range from about 2 feet tall down to 1 foot. So just gives it some flow to it and things that you can pump over. But The main thing I want to point out is this pyramid that you see in front of me. This is like the main pyramid, and it is about 4 feet tall or so. Really mellow banks, so plenty of space to do all kinds of tricks on the hips and get speed for other areas. Another bold section. This time it's got like granite slab coping on it, which is really unique. Definitely feels crusty to grind. But this quarter area is 6 feet tall, almost 7 feet, and got a little bit of vert to it as well. So it's definitely steep and gnarly, but just kind of connects well if you're coming out of the hip areas or the pyramid and going off to hit that big quarter towards the back. I guess this is the southern side of the park. You do have a down rail that's kind of like meant to be a handrail. It's big, burly, square, kind of 4x4 steel on it, but not too long and not too difficult to get onto. So it just extends outward, and then you get into like a mellow, like flowy section. Some parts of it do have coping, but otherwise it's just there to just create some interesting lines to pump over before you get to a pole jam towards the end. So I'll show you what all that looks like here in a second. Like I said, there's a number of different like almost pump track style elements in this park. A couple different rollers that you pump over. These are only like a foot and a half tall. And then eventually it all culminates into a pole jam at the end. Just a pretty standard like 4 or 5 inch wide steel pipe, lands in a concrete area, and then you're back into the asphalt section, which is where the entrance to the skate park is. So all in all, very like freestyle, flowy, just kind of like whatever we felt like putting where to just make it cool to pump over and carve through is really how this skate park is designed and laid out. Okay, so that does it for the Groton, Connecticut skate park tour. I hope you enjoyed the park, and if you're ever in the Groton area, kind of along the coastline, maybe you want to come check out this classic park. It's definitely kind of one of those bucket list skate parks that you want to check out. But yeah, I enjoyed skating the park. It's definitely hard for me because I'm more of a ledge skater, but still had some fun. And yeah, so anyway, I'll see you in the next skate park tour video. Thanks for watching.